Hello everybody, Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 4 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here today to talk about the subject of bitterness. It comes from a quote from that great philosopher Anonymous that says, "Bitterness does more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than the vessel on which it is poured." I like that because I think it speaks to the experience of being bitter, or holding on to bitterness. We are thinking about someone else, but that someone else is really not experiencing the harm. We are. We're actually producing stress-related chemicals, adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol, that are throwing us into a fight or flight response. But since that person isn't here, then fighting or fleeing really isn't an option, and therefore we find ourselves just dumping more chemicals. And that's not good. However, I think there's even something that is more profound here, and that is the idea that we should make a change in our life, i.e. stop holding on to bitterness because of the problem bitterness creates for us. See, in order to follow that reasoning, we have to be driven by the problem, or the fear of the problem, or the need to avoid the problem. And what I've learned is that anytime we are driven by fear or avoidance, or a need to somehow keep something bad from happening, we're almost always coming from that lower 20% of the brain. Ironically, that's where the chemicals of adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol are triggered. So what I suggest we do is just to recognize, yeah, it's not good to pour bitterness out on others. It's not good to hold on to it ourselves, and yet maybe there's another way of looking at that. Maybe we can ask ourselves a more purposeful question, what I call a Neocortex, or top-of-the-mind question, a question that engages this upper 80% of the brain, that says, okay, if I were defining myself in a very purposeful way in my relation to this other situation or this other person, what would be the qualities or characteristics I would like to be able to draw upon? Or another one, if I were recommending to someone I love how to deal with a particular person or situation, what would I recommend? See, my guess is bitterness, anger, frustration, resentment would not even enter the picture. So what that teaches us is when we ask neocortex or top-of-the-mind questions, we engage the purposeful, intelligent, future-oriented, solution-oriented part of the brain versus the past, wary, worried, concerned, frustrated, bitter part of the brain. We change how we are engaging the particular situation. We let go of bitterness and choose another way of dealing with it. But we're making that choice based on the chemicals we want to dump into our bodies, the concepts that we want to be able to access, and how this would be similar to what we would teach to someone we love. Therefore, if you are tired of storing bitterness and or pouring bitterness, what I would encourage you to do is to shift from the problem to the solution. Get really clear the quality or characteristic you would like to be able to access in lieu of bitterness. Begin to see who you are when you are accessing that person, that quality, that particular characteristic, and then bring that to life. It's a much more purposeful, powerful way of creating the life you want. I hope you found this valuable. If you like these videos, please hit the like button. Google does a lot of ranking the videos based on how many people like them. Please leave a comment. I love to read your comments. I read them all. And if you have a question, feel free to ask that question below as well. Also, if you want me to come and create a presentation for your organization, as a speaker, I do this all the time, on dealing with bitterness or stress or difficult people or leadership or customer service, any of those things, all you got to do is go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com, hit the contact button, let me know what you're interested in, and I would love to talk with you about that. Same thing if you would like to work with me as a psychologist or a life coach, I do that, and I would love to talk with you about that as well. If you just want to learn more about my philosophy of life from the top of the mind, again, go to my website, and right on the first page you can put your name and email address in the fields that kind of say that, and I will send you 4 free videos that explain this philosophy of how to access this more purposeful, clear, confident, creative part of the brain, regardless of the situation. Again, I hope you found this valuable. Here's to you, bringing more clarity, more confidence, more creativity to everything you do. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.